Okay, so I was looking at my notes. Comic-Con, of course, has subsided. I'm posting this on... Excuse me, my dog likes to shed on my computer a little bit there. Comic-Con just is ending tonight. Kind of a mixed bag as far as what we saw. What I saw in wrestling terms. This is, of course, the wrestling channel, but also it is figure recreation. I don't do it. I haven't done it yet. I'm thinking about doing it. But I don't know if you saw the new NECA Turtles. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie 2 figures. They're pretty much going all out with everybody. We still don't have the Asian guy from the first movie, the bald guy or whatever from the first one. But so that was kind of cool to see. But let's go back to wrestling. Let's focus on wrestling. I was kind of right. We did see Elite 105. We did see some of 106, 7, 8, and 9. Great scaled out, of course, some of those. Including one new championship. Technically two. We saw the LJN tag belts. And then we saw the Seth Rollins World Heavyweight Championship redone version. Which is basically the world title thrown with the WWE logo over the top of it. It looks cool. It's growing on me a little bit, but it needs to be bigger. I made a joke about how I'm like, wow, they're bringing Seth Rollins out with the women's version of that belt? Because it needs to be bigger. It looks way too tiny. Yeah, we also saw Legends 21 and 22. In fact, I even pre-ordered Iron Sheik from 21. Pre-ordered a lot of stuff. I'm going to go over that in the end. I'm not going to say how much I paid for it, but I even acquired the WWE Ultimate Edition Rob Van Dam through an eBay buyer. So it should be here by July 31st. So I'm excited about that. I still can't find Chief Jay Strongbow for anything even feasible as far as paying for, so that's unfortunate. But did order some Bobby Lashley Ultimates, did order some Kurt Angle Ultimates, pretty much one from Ringside or from Wrestling Collector Shop. To see which one gets here first. It's always good to have two, I think, because if your first one you get is got a loose leg or not really, or maybe the drop down hips are messed up with it, then you get the second one. And then hopefully the second one's good. You can just turn around and sell the first one or keep the other one just in case something happens. Then AEW came out today. Out of the blue. They dropped a little bit of stuff. I mean, it's cool. We're going to see the Briscoe Bros. Them boys, as they call it. I have their FTC Ring of Honor figures. Only the first set. I had Jay in his newer style head sculpt, but he was listed on Macari because I heard they're going to make him with Jazzwares. And then someone bought him on Macari. As soon as they found out he died, I didn't realize that they got him for like $30 off me. That's fine. I'm not here to scalp the dead. I don't poach, dead wrestlers. So, but that's pretty much on the money as far as like what we were going to see. Way off on what I hoped to see. I was, like maybe we're going to get, some out of field ruthless aggression left fielders like Carlito or Lance Storm, Val Venus, wishful thinking on that one, of course. But we did get some guys. We got Terry Gordy, which I'm hoping. It seems like it's 2-in-1, so it's Executioner and Bam Bam Gordy. So is it going to be cloth singlet then? Because he didn't wrestle in like black pants when he was with Michael Hayes. Of course, we need Michael Hayes. We have one Michael Hayes in the older Elite style, but this newer Deluxe Elite style, I think we still need to get our Michael Hayes out there again, or WCW. I know that if you take a Michael Hayes head and throw it on that Shawn Michaels Legend 17 body, the tattoo on the arm's not there, so it looks like it's WCW run. It doesn't have Heartbreak Kid. It's back before the hearts are shaped. It's more the zebra-looking print. It works perfectly. I use it for mine. Then we did get Sultan, a.k.a. Rikishi. Looks good from the renders. It's going to be interesting to see that figure. Hogan ran wild because Macho Man seems to be no more. They're gone quiet on that. There's rumors from what I've heard from people talking about. It's all about exclusivity. A lot of wrestlers right now don't want to sign exclusively to one company because everybody's in the woodworks right now. So Zombie Sailor Toys popped up with the Macho Man. Then we got King Kong Bundy now at Zombie Sailor Toys as well. And I think WWE just wants to kind of stick exclusively to them. Now, there's a list going around that shows like Funaki and Juventud and Spike Dudley and Steven Richards and Simon Dean and all these other guys that are apparently signed to like a Legends deal for like video game likeness or even that super card game. But no renders, nothing. It seems like there's no interest on their behalf. No offense, Mattel, to make that a possibility. They really focus on, I know it's Hogan's 40th year in the business or whatever it is, but at the same time, a lot of people were like, do we need that many Hogans at once? Is the Hogan fan base as strong as it once was? I mean, every year more Hulkamaniacs go up, to the big ring in the sky, so to speak. And in the last few years, he's been very controversial. He's said some things, he's done some things, he's creeped out some people, he's been relatively, if you dig into his history, you find out how much of a dexterman he was to a lot of wrestlers. Macho Man didn't like him. The only reason he liked him was because he made money with him when he could make money with him. According to Hogan, they made up before his death, whatever. So a lot of Hogans. You had the basics got retooled. They look exactly, and Mattel didn't even mention this, and I haven't seen anybody talk about this because I think the influencers only have to talk about Mattel stuff, but they are literally now perfectly balanced with the boss fight lucha line. So Ultimo Dragon is going to sync up perfectly with a basic Rey Mysterio if they make one like that. I don't think they made. No, they are going to make one like that. It's in 144 or something like that, or 143 with Karrion Kross maybe. No, I think it's 44 because I remember seeing the Karrion Kross thinking, I could take the head off that and put it on the Elite 92 or 93. Because I don't see him getting Elite anytime soon again, and I like that look. But no, the basics, getting that retooling, it is cool. It's cool for collectors. Obviously, there's more playability with them. I've already retired the basic. I like call it the core line because I know they hate saying that they didn't like being called basics. I don't know what we're gonna call this new line because it's not really basic anymore. It's no longer like Ruthless Aggression era. They've changed it to where it's kind of like deluxe, but not nearly as big, and not there's no chest articulation. That's okay. It's literally like the Ultimo Dragon, Black Taurus, Vampiro, and Perro Goya. So that's gonna be kind of cool if you put obviously Dragon wasn't really around in the older days. Perro Goya either, but imagine if they made Ciclope, or they made Hector Guerrero or Hector Garza, they made him, or Heavy Metal. Of course, these are guys from the 1997 Royal Rumble. It'd be kind of cool to see those guys. If they make those guys in Lucha Libre, Boss Fights does in the future. I'm still waiting on when their Wave 3 announcement's coming. Speaking of which, where is Wave 2? It was promised in Q1. I pre-ordered that set entirely day one, a full year ago. $111, cash paid, no problem, all the way in on that line, with the intent that it was going to be Q1. We're approaching Q4. So supposedly someone said they got a notification saying that they're going to be shipping out soon. I hope so. I mean, the Dragon looked phenomenal. Can't wait for it. I'm hoping that they retool Juventud a little bit, unless Mattel comes out with Juventud, I guess. Supposedly he's signed to the company, which is interesting because to a Legends deal, of course. And then AEW, back to AEW, they did talk about, sorry I'm jumping around a little bit here. They did announce Ring of Honor. I'm kind of going to other promotions. They did announce Ring of Honor. Great for the four people they announced. I have no use for them personally because I remember you're going to have Claudio from his AEW figure when it shows up. I already have a Bryan Danielson. It'd be cool for Lance Storm Custom maybe if you want to switch the head. Then you had Kenny Omega, which some people were like, hey, look, it's Chris Nowinski. It does look like Chris Nowinski, I'm not going to lie. But then again, I didn't see Kenny Omega back in those days. I got Kenny Omega Supreme. That's one way I'm able to have different sets and different collections is I don't buy everybody. Sorry, Tanner's back there in the background. But For instance, I just bought the whole new 8-pack of Spider-Man figures that they're shipping to my house right now. Couldn't afford those if I was buying every single person under the sun. I only buy one figure of the individual wrestler, and if they get an ultimate, guess what? That's the be-all, end-all. They go up to ultimate status. That's it. They stay at ultimate. Even if new ones come along, maybe if a head change or a haircut change, I might just throw it on the body. You know, if Kurt Angle bald comes out and it matches the same skin tone, I might throw it on that Kurt Angle. But then again, I may not. Depends on the sculpts and whatnot. The 4-pack apparently is already out in Targets in some places, which I don't know how people acquire them, because every time I go to a Target and find something that's supposed to be out yet, they just constantly take it from my hands and walk off with it. I did find a Multiverse Batman figure from the Joker Build-A-Figure set, and they snatched it out of my hand and took it back after I tried to ring it up. No biggie. That's fine. But back to the wrestling at the top of your hand. Scott Steiner. We got one in WWE, his late 2002, 3-ish look. Although he had more of a kick pad thing, I feel like, by that time. But this one comes with boots. Gargano had Gargano syndrome. They're not going to fix that. A little bit disappointed. I thought about maybe switching the legs with my takeover one, but I have to see what the color scheme looks like. I mean, I'm not too worried about it as an open air collector / fig territory player, whatever it is. Then we had Braun Strowman, Io Shirai. Some people said, why didn't you get the girls? I've had them before. They broke. The plastic wears down. They're just very thin. I'm sorry. I grew up with wrestling action figures where the women were managers. You can call me sexist, I guess. I'm not trying to be. I don't have any desire. I did collect them for a while, and usually when I'm broke, that's the first one to go. And yeah, there's a great investment to return and sell them a bunch, back. But at the same time, I just don't have the time or the space. So then we got the pre-orders for that. It's going to be a little bit of time. I was looking at the pre-order, set. In October is when the next Elite set comes out. So we got ours pretty much at the start of July. So we got 3-month wait time. That's a little unfortunate. If you are an AEW fan, then you've got a few people coming in between that time, so there's not such a huge long pause. But it seems like everything except for maybe the Royal Rumble line, the Build-A-Figure line comes out, I think, in September. Everything else is out to October and beyond. The Ultimates. My eyes went bugged when I saw it said November. I'm like, really? November? I mean, we got Orton. Macho got canceled. It's like, well, bummer. It's too bad they couldn't throw somebody else in there real quick at the last second, or maybe had someone on backup. Speaking of which, I did suggest to Mattel, what about doing a Mattel creation? We had no Mattel creations this year. You had Muhammad Ali, that's already planned. You have the Coliseum. I'm talking how we had Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul last year, where you could buy into them and order as many as you'd like between a certain deadline. Nothing this year. And I thought, okay, well, you couldn't have had a Drew McIntyre on standby. You couldn't have had Sami Zayn or The Miz. No Miz figures at all. I mean, yeah, we got his new Best of Ruthless Aggression, but come on, the guy's a 2-time world champion, and yet we've got this to represent him. An outdated, old, white, plain, silver Miz. When he just had a run with the title, it was a short run, but he still had the run with the belt. Still had the briefcase, didn't he? Didn't he win Didn't he take it from Otis after the Otis experiment failed? It's kind of hazy. I remember he took it, and then he got beat by Lashley. So I was like, okay, well, I made a comment okay, well, if obviously if that's not an option, what about maybe just having somebody in the wings with different attire choices? What if a Mr. Perfect? You order Mr. Perfect, but then to make it truly yours, you can choose between 3 different colors. You can be red and black, or light blue and black, or even orange and black, or yellow and black. I mean, we're getting yellow and black in the Legend line, so maybe not that one, but green. I mean, a plethora of different ones. I know red and black was more of his late return. I remember seeing that when he wrestled the night after Royal Rumble 2002. I personally want to see a 2002 Royal Rumble return Mr. Perfect look. Ultimate would work great with him because the butterfly allows you to get that Mr. Perfect plex perfectly in. I know he's probably not on the top of everyone's list. Oh, we did see Yokozuna. That was cool. Hopefully that means we're going to see Vader in the future. We still need a 96 Shawn Michaels. I'm sorry I'm lisping a little bit, but my retainer's in right now. We still need a 96 Shawn Michaels. We did get Deadly Games or Mind Games attire to take on the British Bulldog, which now I look at it, actually that's not the Mind Games. That's the In Your House Battle Bulldog. If they're doing the championship battle packs where they are accurate attire, then that's not the Mind Games at all. Despite people are saying that's the Mind Games one. It's similar to it. But yeah, no 96 King of the Ring, Shawn Michaels Ultimates. They did show Brock. They did show, like I said, RVD. They showed off the next wave, which is now the Bret Hart and Roddy Piper, which are beautiful. Maybe not the head scan on Bret, as people are saying, but that is perfectly the attire I'd like. I can just take my Target Legend head and pop that on there, and boom, it looks great. I love the Defining Moment version of that, so that was perfectly fine. I know I think it's missing the hearts, which I'm trying to think if the Defining Moments had the hearts or not, or if that was not an inaccurate attire. I'm surprised they don't go all out and just do a Montreal Screwjob Ultimate 2-pack. Maybe Bret's sore on that idea, or Shawn's sore on that idea. I mean, they had Shawn in that attire, but not butterfly joints. So maybe that's why they're not doing it. They did have a 2-pack, though. They had Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 10. Not Ultimate, just Elite. Not bad. Just something I didn't need. Because I already have Ultimate Razor. If I buy everybody, I'd just be broke. So as far as like adding new Ultimates, I guess I can look forward to adding Yoko, Mankind, who else was it? Roddy Piper. One or two. I'll start with the Coliseum collection first, and then in January I'll up it to the WCW one if I find that one. Mankind, of course, will be Wave 2, which is way later. Same with Yoko. Yoko's going to be like next spring, if not next summer, because The Rock is scheduled next to come out. And then it's going to be Ultimate Warrior, 91, I think it was. 90 Ultimate Warrior, not 91. Or is it 91? 91, excuse me. 91 Ultimate Warrior. 90 was when he faced Rick Rude, when he was for the title. So then you're going to have Yoko. So it's like you're going to have maybe Rock show up in maybe late fall. And then spring might be Warrior. So summer next year, we might be seeing him finally in package. On display. Hopefully not. I hope it gets out sooner, but the rate some of these things go, I don't know. No Lex Luger to go with Yoko. We do get fake Diesel and Ultimate, Elite Edition, which is kind of cool. A little haha funny moment. But we're gonna get fake Razor Ramon to go with them. Are they gonna find Rick Bogner and call him up and be like, hey, you want an action figure? I don't know. So he managed to find like the ugliest Razor Ramon head you can find that looks more like Rick Bogner. Pop that on there and there's your fake Razor and Diesel if that's what you want. Which I guess should try and build some new gen, because he wasn't Attitude, he wasn't Monday Night Wars. I mean, I guess he was Monday Night Wars technically, but he wasn't like when the hottest time was. It was more of like WWE getting destroyed at this point. So it looks like they're building right now the WCW line as the stronger, so maybe as time goes on they start to swing it towards WWE being the stronger force. But again, we're missing so many people. I feel like I won't be in on the Monday Night Wars line because currently all we're seeing is just guys in street clothes. Lex Luger in debut gear, Hogan in debut gear, Hall in denim vest, which again, if that's your favorite, you like to pose and recreate that moment in history, that's perfectly fine, and more power to you. I personally, I'm just like, if I see like a first time in line type guy like Buff Bagwell throw up over here, Patriot show up over here, the Headbangers over here, maybe Chronic, Wrath would be cool, Canyon would be cool. There's a lot of guys that would be really cool. I just don't see them doing. And so you're gonna wonder like how long is this line going to continue before it kind of loses steam, because I mean, unless you're a diehard, like I have to have every Bret Hart attire, or I have to have every this guy's attire, or this guy's attire, most fans like variety. And that's one thing we lacked at this Comic-Con, I think. A lot of people were saying there was no real variety. I mean, you had 11 Hogan figures. About 11 Hogan figures. You had some Brocks. You had your Romans. Of course, I didn't even talk about Ultimate Edition 20's Bray, which it looks great. I don't know what that's happening with Bray right now. He came back, wrestled like one match, and has been gone since. So it's going to look cool. Roman, okay. Bloodline is very popular right now. Usos are about to come out. It makes sense for, I guess, another Roman to pop up. He's only been out for 5 series, so if they're going to retool the torso and add the boots, cool. Hopefully we start seeing some other guys in the main line. I know it's 3, so it's looking like it's going to be two wrestling males and 1 female. And that's cool. You're going to have Bianca Belair in 19. You're going to have Asuka in 20. Maybe Bayley in 21. Maybe Charlotte again. Maybe another Becky Lynch. Who knows? I don't. Obviously, you're not going to see every female in that line. You're going to see every superstar in that line to begin with. But there are some key players. No Steiner Ultimates. No mention of any other Steiners. Only Scott was there, but we already knew about Scott in a previous post or previous announcement. So seeing his picture, great figure to hold over, but people are saying, well, they're going to release him quietly because of all the controversy. I don't know. I'm told that there was like apologies and whatnot. I know that Rick's not there. He wasn't there at the event. Scott was there. He showed up and looked at his figure. But people are upset about that. No tag team Steiners. I've been clamoring for a WCW champ. Steiner. Biker shorts, big bad booty daddy, whatever it is. Just so I have someone for Goldberg to kind of line up with. I was like, how sick would it be if you had like Sid Vicious / Psycho Sid? You could switch 2 heads, you got the same figure, 2 different versions. Maybe put some cloth shorts on him or something like that. And Big Papa Pump. Those are 2 guys that Goldberg kind of, we're in a Brett that's going to look just like the WCW kind of, but at the same time, those are 2 guys that really brought the best out in Goldberg as far as heavy hitting, matches, especially Steiner and him taking those nasty bumps during those matches they had. No Booker T. I thought for sure a Booker T Ultimate was in the line down the pipeline. I thought it was going to be because you got Lashley, cool. We got Mr. T. Muhammad Ali now is technically is an Ultimate too. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy over here on something. What are you doing? Stop that. But I thought for sure Booker T, King Booker something. No Bookers in the pipeline at all. I mean, maybe his contract expired. It's concerning to see so few people. And I'm wondering, did they let too many expire? Or did we just be like, hey, look, you're an announcer, but we're just going to take the Legend deal away from you because you're not signing exclusively. This video's getting long. I'm going to end it here very shortly. That's just my thoughts of how off I was. Most people probably won't watch this anyway, but are we seeing a shift? Are we seeing a shift from just like 1 or 2 dominant companies to where now a lot of people who have money are going to start getting in the wrestling game and start really making the licenses harder to accumulate? Because Mattel only wants exclusivity with guys, but yet you've got Zombie Sailor, you've got all these smaller promotions offering probably not nearly what they can offer, but it adds up. If 7 companies want to build, a 6-inch figure, the weird little bendy figure, if the Major Bros want to have like the big buff, bendy figures, if FTC wants to get into the market, and then eventually it adds up, and you want that exclusivity. For the love of God, somebody tie down Jeff Jarrett so he'll stop jumping from company to company, because you had him planned for an Ultimate, he bailed. Then he signed with somebody else to make a 6-inch figure. Now he's with AEW apparently exclusively. So that doesn't seem to be popular because no one's showing any pictures of that anymore. We've only seen Brian Pillman and King Kong Bundy. Where'd Shane Douglas go? What happened to Jeff Jarrett? What happened to Shane Douglas? They were the first 2 announced, yet we're seeing almost painted prototypes of Brian Pillman complete and King Kong Bundy. Not saying that's not bad, but what happened to Shane Douglas? FTC seems to only have like 3 guys on the pipeline too coming up, FTC. So, and Boss Fights is gone radio silent. I mean, I know we got Vampiro with the WSX Championship coming. There's also rumors there's going to be some other guys like Laredo Kid and Teneb Bliss Jr. I hope I said that right. And then Power Town. Besides Brian and Matt Cardona, the 2-pack, which I love the belts, and I bought the figures because those belts are awesome. In fact, I bought 2 because a buddy of mine literally paid me $50 just to get the digital championship from me, and I wasn't about to just lose 1 belt. I was like, no, I want that belt too. So, all right, $50 for the belt, sure, I'll sell the figures individually. But where's Wave 2? It's Comic-Con. I figured we would, I figured they would jumped on Twitter or something and posted somewhere like, hey guys, check this out. Like piggyback off others. Go ahead. This is the most eyes were on your product. So maybe they just quieted down because they wanted to make sure that people were going to have the money for it. I thought it was coming out in the fall. Is it pre-order only coming out in the fall? We gotta wait a whole another year for it to be made again, or are you guys gonna spring out a brand new set? Speaking of which, remember Coliseum is not doing pre-orders on their Coliseum Wave 3. It just drops on September 26th. So I gotta be bright and early for my set because I would like my George Steele and my Roddy Piper for sure. But Comic-Con, it was interesting. I'm not saying it's the worst. I do recall, I think there was one that was way worse than that, where nothing hardly was shown. I think it was 2020, and it was only online. It was very limited runs. But this year, as far as variety, we didn't get a lot of variety. I mean, yeah, we got some first time in lines. Yeah, we're getting some people here and there, but there's still so many missing characters. Like there was no Butch, Ridge Holland we already knew about. No Imperium. A lot of people were pissed about no Imperium. Even basics. I mean, the only basic new guys we're getting, besides LA Knight, who's going to be getting an Elite in 108 as well, so cool and then cool. Top Dollar and Ashanti Donis. Did I say that right? Ashanti Donis? I think I've heard of him. No Axiom. No Pretty Deadly. I know we're getting R-Truth in the Greatest Hits line, which they didn't even announce. They showed them, but they didn't even announce when those are coming out, which is concerning because they were pretty much showing everything and saying this releases next spring, this releases next spring, this is in the fall, this is in the fall, this is in quarter 2, this is, So it makes me wonder, is this set going to come out again in June like the last one? Like we are literally advertising something that already has got prototypes and literally just all it is a few little changes to existing figures to take almost a whole another year again? Man. I understand it takes time, but at the same time, we're not getting any younger. Like, are we going to, some people made a joke about, on AEW, about, I think it was Claudio Castagnoli, or no, it was the Trios 2-pack. It was the Trios 3-pack, not 2-pack, 3-pack. Which, by the way, yeah, Death Triangle comes with all 3 Trios titles, and they get the All-Atlantic, or now International title. I guess they've changed it. They're doing a TNA thing. They're going from TNA Legends Championship to TNA TV title, so now it's TNA International. I don't know if it's going to say All-Atlantic or Mid-Atlantic or wherever that belt is. It's coming with Orange Cassidy as well, but I'll snag it with whichever one comes first. And then, hey, it's just an extra belt. The trio belts are only coming with those guys on that vault. I know I signed up for the vault as far as the notifications of it. I'm hoping to see, some groundbreaking, changing stuff with it. How sick would it be if, again, like with the Mattel thing, you have 3 guys up there, I've already been kind of sampled or whatever it is, or it's not hard for them to create a prototype. It's not. I mean, they've got all the parts, they can figure it out on their time, and then literally go, hey, look, for a month, here are these 3 guys that we don't think are good enough for the main line. You want to buy them? They're this much. How sick would that be? It'd be a game changer because you're right. Drew Gulak is not going to be a main release guy, but there are fans of the guy. I like the cruiserweights. How sick would it have been if the cruiserweights back in the day were on a situation like that, where, okay, we don't really have the energy or the time to want to put Tajiri in the main line, or he may not be around, and he didn't last very long. But let's say a couple of the other guys, or for instance, Cedric Alexander hasn't had a new figure in a while. When he was in the Hurt Business, he would look cool in the Hurt Business. But all we ever got was his WCW, or his time in the 205 Live Cruiserweight run. So how sick would it be if, okay, well, here's Billy Gunn in wrestling attire, not just weird pants that makes him look like Lex Luger if he, stopped working out his chest. Sorry, guys, it looks like that. It just looks like that. How cool would it be, if you had Serpentico, or you had some AEW Dark guys, QT Marshall, Ethan Page had been waiting for his figure forever, it seems like. Christopher Daniels or Jerry Lynn, guys that just don't seem to have the main appeal anymore. But to us dieharders, that fans have been around for a long time, I'd love an AEW Jerry Lynn figure or a Christopher Daniels figure to go with my SCU. So hopefully stuff like that's coming down the pipeline. Hopefully this Vault thing takes off. I've seen a lot of negativity. Surprise, surprise. It seems like everybody's very negative nowadays, not getting what they want. I didn't get half of what I wanted, but yet I've realized that there's more to life than just complaining about it. These are toys. These are designed for kids with some collectors in mind. It's a fun ride. It's interesting to see who gets to get added to this shelf, or who gets to come up to this shelf, or what surprises come from this shelf. And it's cool to give some feedback here and there. I hope maybe some of that stuff does change. I hope we do get out of this more dinosauric concept of just lineups that are unknown, because now we in the world of the internet, we're instantly knowing things. So why not tap into that? Why not put up some offerings? Use some parts, throw some people together, give some side intern a job or gig, and go, hey, we want you, you want to prove yourself? Show us what a Serpenticore could look like, or Pentaco. Somebody who, somebody you don't think, we never got with the Jungle Express, Marco Stunt. And so it's kind of unfortunate because, obviously, he didn't last, but sometimes a unique body mold would have been. But those deep cuts that don't have, the anchor power, as I guess some figures do, because, you got guys who are hot for 1 minute, like Ezekiel, Elias, and then by the time this figure comes around, he's cooled off. He's completely frozen. He's completely gone. And then you're stuck with, not having anybody. So hopefully that does lead to more stuff. Hopefully they do change it up a little bit and think, hey, you know what? We got websites. We're directly to the factory. If people want something, let's put it up for a month and offer it. I'm not saying they may not build it instantly, it's right out the door, but if the demand is there, or if somebody wants something, how hard is it to set aside some parts and make somebody? Just food for thought, I guess. Make the prototypes. Maybe crowdfunding is dead for the most part. I've seen, no offense to Mattel, but the stage failed. This Jurassic Park thing's failing. People just don't want to, they talk a big game, but they don't want to put their money into it. And I personally think at the end of this video that we did see kind of I'm not going to sit there and say they're no longer motivated. I think the higher ups at Mattel are like, look, you guys took a gamble. You said they wanted all these Ultimate figures. You said they wanted this, they wanted that. We gave you the permission to do it, and it failed. We saw no Ultimate Steiner. We saw no Ultimate DDP. We saw no Ultimate Hulk Hogan. We saw one Ultimate Warrior. Okay, but not WCW. And we did see an Ultimate Rey Mysterio, but he was already in the pipeline anyway. But we lost out on potentially 2 new guys to the line. They may not ever get an Ultimate. And some people go, well, that's fine, one Ultimate anyway. We just got, people are thrilled that Randy Orton can actually do the RKO pose. Hello, Diamond Cutter was before the RKO, and it was done holding the guy's head, not just this. It was like this. He locked in, bang, So, I'm hoping that, I was really, well, when's the next crowdfunder? There may not be another crowdfunder for years. We may not see that again. But this has been basically my my thoughts after Comic-Con. I did the prediction video. I think 4 people saw it. Thank you, the 4 that maybe watched 2 minutes of this and said this sucks and turned it off. Like I said, I'm not building this for millions of followers. You're not going to see me on Instagram or in a private jet or something like that, or trying to, get my way into Mattel's next offering of influencers or anything like that. I don't care about that. I'm too old for that kind of crap. My ideas are, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm not getting any younger. I'd like to keep building a huge side. I'd like to have an Ultimate, Sid and Shawn Michaels. my heyday, I guess, of '90s. My heyday of when I was a kid, learning wrestling, loving wrestling. But I think we're headed for an interesting time. I think with all the new little mini players coming in, snagging up contracts that aren't exclusive, we could see the bigger companies struggle as far as signing new guys. Obviously sign new legends. You can only sign new guys. They got, that's part of the deal when they get hired on. But as far as like getting Raven to make part with the coming in Elite when he can go become the little weird plushy one. Someone was making a joke about Squishmallows getting AEW. To each their own, I guess. Take it easy.